Hi guys, how are you doing? I am trying to figure out a setup to film a Stitch With Me video. So, if you see this then it worked, if you don't then it didn't. Anyway, I'm going to try and just stitch, and might as well stitch and get some progress in. Then at least I got that done if this is a total bust. But I think it might be okay. So this is not going to be a controversial Stitch With Me, and I'm sorry if I am shaking anything at all. Just trying to get used to the setup. I am working on Coffee Quaker. This is the Magical Elixir Part 1, which is called Coffee Saves Lives by the Heartstring Samplery. I think I have the card somewhere over here, trying to find it for you in case you haven't seen it before. Oh my gosh, all the glare in the world. This is the sampler, and as you can see I left out the alphabet part, which should go on top of here. I am making this my own. Let's see, are you still in frame? Yes. So I'm working on the bottom part over here, and I'm working with a very light, I think you will be able to see it, the lighting with this is on top of my magnifying lens / daylight light. I have one of those magnifying lenses with a ring of daylight lamp around it, so that's what I use. I'm not looking through it because you're on top of it, so I have my extra, let's move this so you can see, I have an extra magnifier that I use for traveling with me. So this is my setup that I'm going to try and stitch with and see if it works. I am filming this on a Monday evening. What is it? Something like the 27th of February. Always find it hard to say. And I'm doing this now because I want to try out the setup, and this weekend I have a lot of other commitments, and I was supposed to have a Flosstube video, a regular Flosstube video up, but because of other commitments I don't think I will get around to filming one. So I figured I might as well try and film a Stitch With Me and see if I can put that up instead. Speaking about the Stitch With Me, as I said before, I will do a few of these because I kind of want to talk about some things in a different setting, not necessarily part of a Flosstube normal update for me. And I know not everybody is really excited to hear my thoughts on any kind of topics at all. So for those who are, I thought I might do a separate series. I'm drinking coffee in the meantime. And I asked you in a previous update if you could help me come up with a name. And there were several of you who have come up with very nice names, and I thought I would mention some. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna call it, but you will know because you have seen the title of this video, but I'm not sure yet. But I thought I would mention some. And of course, how could I not mention Adele Cat Stitches, and Amber at She's Crafting, who both came up with and if you have any objections to swearing or any children in the room, please forgive me. But they came up with Bitch With Me videos, which I like, but it's the point of making these videos for me is not to bitch about something, but just to enlighten people about different points of view, maybe. Maybe that's a bit too grandly stated, but yeah. My point is, there are all kinds of opinions in the world. I'm just going to share my view from the Dutch perspective. I like Belinda Aussie Stitches 1-2, who suggested, because it was cross-stitch, I might do X-rated, X as in cross, but that might attract the wrong crowd. I agree with you, Belinda. Then there were a few I like. I'm not sure which I'm going to choose. Anne Tinsley, Southern Stitcher, suggested Think With Me, which I do like, because, you know, it's supposed to be thought-provoking. Loretta Muller, my handwriting's pretty bad, so I can't read my own handwriting, but she suggested A Bit Too Far, which I also like. Mischievous Stitches, Laurie, suggested Controversation, which combines conversation and controversial topics, which I also liked. And then Hanneke Simonaya suggested a Dutch name, Koffietijd, which means coffee time, which is appropriate for me, and it's also a pun because it was one of our daytime shows for a long time running, one of those daytime chat shows. So coffee time might be a winner. But there are a few that I like. I'm still not sure. If there's anyone you like better than the one I put up on this video as a title, please let me know. Anyway, that's the public service announcement. Now to get back to some stitching, I want to get started and see if I can figure out what I'm going to talk about. Still in frame, yes. Now, I might get in the way of your view, not sure, but we'll have to figure this out as we go along. So I just started a new color. This is Hazelnut by Crescent Color, Classic Colorworks, whatever you prefer. It's a very nice, I would say more of a very light fudge color, golden fudge, but it's really nice. Works really well for this sampler. And as you can see, I start with a diagonal pin stitch from the front. If you haven't, oh, I'm sorry. I forget that I put my scissors on with a magnet onto the lamp, so every time I pull it off I will shake the camera, so I will keep it off for now. Hope I will be able to find it, because that's not the usual place for me to put the scissors. But yeah, so if you haven't seen the start with a diagonal pin stitch before, let me know and I will refer you to a good tutorial on that, because it's so fun, it's so easy to use. I prefer to start like that anytime I'm stitching with one thread, which I do more and more these days because I'm stitching with 40 count more and more. And yeah, I prefer one thread with 40 count, and yeah, this is just best for me. Now I'm still trying to figure out the magnification, because this is not as good. The traveling magnifier is not as good as my normal one, and I've gotten so used to stitching with that one that I prefer to use it all the time, not just for the higher count fabrics, but for any fabric, because that's just, I find my stitching is neater when I use it, because I can see much more clearer, and I don't railroad my stitches at all. If I'm using just one thread, you can't even do that, but yeah, usually I don't really see the need for that. But I did find that using a magnifier for stitching on the lower count fabrics as well did help with the neatness of my stitching. So I was wondering how this would go, talking and stitching at the same time. And for now it does seem to go pretty easily. I'm gonna have to try and keep my hand away, I can tell that. But as I was just watching Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy, and she was talking about how most people don't actually watch Stitch With Me videos or any kind of Flosstube videos, and I agree. I listen more than I watch. I look up when you are showing something to me, or when I hear a gasp of horror because you realize you just stitched the whole piece the wrong way or whatever. But yeah, mostly I listen to Flosstube, and I try and listen to most of the videos on 1.5 speed as well. But I do find that in a lot of cases that's difficult for me because English is not my first language, and even though I'm pretty decent at it, I find that when I put it on higher speed, I don't know, not everyone has this, I know, but I have this thing that when I am concentrating on something and there's noise in the background, I can sort of cancel that out in my head. And I find that if I'm stitching and listening to Flosstube on 1.5 speed, for some people I use that trick. Because it's sort of becoming a noise in the background, I cancel it out, and then I realize I haven't actually watched or listened to the video because I was just not paying attention to it. So for that reason I find it difficult to do the 1.5 speed thing. But for some people I find it does work well, because either I am fascinated by what they say anyway, or they have a tendency like me to be a bit of a slow talker, and then when you speed it up 1.5 times it's still pretty decent speed, that it doesn't become a blur for me. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I didn't offend anyone with that. If I did, well, yeah, can't help it. Yeah. So one of the things I won't get to until my next update is that I received my fabric of the month from XJU Designs on Etsy. If you haven't discovered her yet, where have you been? No, I'm kidding. You need to go check her out. She has lovely fabrics. This time it was more to what I was expecting it to be, for a primitive colorway. I am not going to show it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone, and people were asking me to send them a picture privately, and I am hesitating to do that because I really don't want, for any reason whatsoever, to get a picture that I posted or sent someone to end up on some social media platform and spoil the surprise for you. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm sorry if you are very curious. I actually, when I received it that same day, I was wondering, because I didn't get a shipping notification this time, and last time I did, and then I know usually it takes about maximum a week to get to me, and I think I received it last Friday or Saturday, I think, I'm not sure. But I was wondering that same day that it had been past the halfway mark of the month and I hadn't seen a shipping notification, and I was wondering, should I or shouldn't I ask Yukos about it, and I decided not to. And it's good that I didn't and was patient a bit longer, because then it arrived the same day. So yeah, that was really a surprise, because it sort of slipped my mind that I was a part of that fabric of the month club. But yeah, it's a really I can say it's something I will definitely have several things that I'm thinking about that I might use it for, and I think I'm going to take it with me for the retreat it's in almost 2 weeks now, and try and find a good thread for it with my LNS, and use it to start something this year. Let's see, where am I? So I had pulled up a tag to do because I know which topic I want to discuss for this type of video, and I have one lined up that is sort of current for what's going on in Dutch politics as well, but I haven't prepared. I haven't had time to prepare, so this video is just about trying out the setup and see if I can tweak it, maybe if it needs to be tweaked. See what you think of this setup, and the next one I will definitely prepare something and discuss with you. So yeah, I have pulled up a tag, and I pulled up the tag by Tracy P, the talking tag, and I know that English is not my native language, but I thought it would be fun to do a little random Dutch facts, sprinkle it across there, and add some Dutch words or Dutch expressions, because we have some weird expressions too. So let's just finish this stitch and let's just have a look at that tag. Yeah. So she asked first to say these words, and I know that I have a bit of a mixed accent. Some words I would say in a British accent because that's how we are taught in our schools, and some words I will definitely say with an American accent, but that's because I learned to speak English mainly when I was in America for the first time, when I was pretty young and spending some time with family over there. So here we go. Say these words: ant, route, wash, oil, theater, iron, salmon, caramel, fire, water, sure, data, ruin, crayon, toilet, New Orleans, pecan, both, again, probably, spitting image, Alabama, lawyer, coupon, mayonnaise, syrup, pajamas, caught. And my not really OCD, but spelling pet peeve is wanting to point out that the word is misspelled on there. But yeah, someone already mentioned that on Floss Soup. Anyway, so what is it called when you throw toilet paper on a house? Well, we don't do that over here, but I've seen a lot of American television shows to know that people call that TPing a house. And yeah, we Dutch are known for being a bit of a frugal people, so that's not something we would do. I guess most people in the Netherlands would consider that a waste. What is the bug that when you touch it, it curls into a ball? I have no idea. We don't have bugs like that over here as far as I'm aware. What is the bubbly carbonated drink called? A soft drink? And in the Netherlands we would call that frisdrank, which would translate as cold drink or refreshing drink. What do you call gym shoes? Sneakers? Trainers, maybe? In the Netherlands, I would call them trainingsschoenen, so trainer shoes, or sneakers. We have a lot. We are easygoing people that easily assimilate other words from other languages. So we have a lot of English words in our language. So sneakers would be a Dutch word as well. So what do you say to address a group of people? When I talk to you guys, I would say hi guys, hello guys, listen up guys. Or when I'm addressing a group of people in the Netherlands, it's usually for work, so I would just have a general greeting, goedemorgen, goedemiddag, good morning, good afternoon, and say my name and explain why I'm talking to them. What do you call the kind of spider that has an oval-shaped body and extremely long legs? Now I know what you mean, but I also know that I call that the wrong word in the Netherlands, in Dutch. So I always tend to call them hooiwagen. I'm trying to speak Dutch with an English accent, but hooiwagen, and that is a hay cart. So a cart that you would put hay on, as in dried grass. But I know that's not the right word. At least I think it's not the right word, because I think a hooiwagen is the mosquito with the long legs that you often see in summer. I think that's a hooiwagen. So if anybody who's Dutch who's watching can help me out with what would be the correct Dutch word, I would love to know, because I always mix them up. So not the daddy long legs, or whatever other people have mentioned. So what else? What do you call your grandparents? Well, my grandparents are all deceased, but when they were alive, my one grandparent, my grandfather, was already dead before I was born, so I only had 2 grandmothers, 1 grandfather. And the grandmothers I called oma, and the grandfather I called opa. That's just the regular term for grandparents in the Netherlands. I don't have any kind of cute nickname for them. And if I needed to make a distinction between my 2 grandmothers, I would use their last name. And I'm not going to say their last name on television. Hear me? On FlossTube, but yeah, so I would say oma or oma for my 2 grandmothers. What do you call the wheeled contraption in which you carry groceries at the supermarkets? I would say a trolley. And I have no idea if that is English or British or American. But in the Netherlands we would call that een winkelwagentje. So a shopping cart. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry for counting aloud. I realize I'm doing it, and I always get annoyed by it when I'm listening to a stitch along, because I get confused by my own counting and someone counting aloud beside me. But yeah, sorry about that. We'll try and avoid it. But yeah, winkelwagentje. So winkel means shop and wagentje means cart. What do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining? Now we have a term for that, and I'm not sure if everybody in the Netherlands has the same term for it, but as far as I can remember, we used to say it's carnival in hell. And I might be mixing things up here, because I don't know why, but kermis in the hell, carnival in hell is what I remember people saying about such things when the sun was shining and it was raining at the same time. And I should look it up and see what the origin of that is, because I don't know. If anybody watching knows, would love to know that. Please share. So one side done, and one more question to go. So what is the thing you changed the TV channel with? A remote control, and I would call it in Dutch, I would call it afstandsbediening, so which means the exact same thing, remote control. But yeah, so that's all there is in the tag, and that's about, what is it, 25 minutes as far as I can see. And I'm going to need to flip the project, so I can do that now, but might get in the way. Let's see if I can move this without too much of a hassle. So yeah, I need to tie off. This is my back. No need for back shaming at all. I don't care what you think of my back, stitching wise or body wise. This is what it is. And yeah, this is where I'm gonna leave it. Let me know what you think of this setup. And I have no idea of the sound quality, or what would you think of the image quality. Let me know, and I will try and do a regular update. Not this weekend, but the next weekend, so the weekend before our retreat. See you guys, thank you for watching.